Now there is a problem, and it's a big one. There will be angry letters sent their way. What were they thinking? Hello and welcome to Late Night Driving, an automotive-based late-night talk show filmed in broad daylight and hosted by yours truly, Noah Charalambous. This week we're talking about the new 2020 Ford Bronco, which is Ford's new SUV flagship, and its mission is to deliver the ultimate 4x4 experience and inspire confidence in drivers of all skill levels. So my first thought when I saw the new Bronco was that they've absolutely nailed it. It's a cracking piece of design, which I was surprised by because I'm not often impressed by retro designs because I think they're a bit unimaginative, and I think that I'd much rather a manufacturer try to push new ground than pull out a proven formula from their past. If I had to criticize the design a little bit, it'd be that I wish they'd carried over some of the more Mad Max style touches from the Baja race car. I mean, you've got the embedded light bar, the even more exaggerated haunches. But in terms of criticisms, that's about it. It's a neat piece of design. Well done, Ford. And that carries over into the interior. It's a really, dare I say, lavish looking place to be, especially in the upper trim ranges. The design inside is a perfect concoction of utilitarian style and modern design. I'm a particularly big fan of the grab handles in the center console, the optional dual window side doors, and there's the instrument binnacle, which is quite neat. Then there's the massive IMAX spec 12-inch center screen. Now, usually I'd have a problem with this sort of thing. I'm not a fan of center screens. I think they date quicker than a banana in a sauna. But I'm willing to let it pass here. In a way, I really wish manufacturers would offer an option like to plug and play, in that you could take out the screen and replace it with like a new updated screen every few years, kind of like what Porsche is doing with their older 911 range. But I can see why they're doing it. You know, everyone wants a Tesla, but again, they've nailed it. It's a great interior, aside from the screen. But you know, they're not going to listen to me. Okay, so some key features. There's going to be 7 models across the entire lineup, including the fully booked out first edition. So you can get it in 2 and 4-door. 35-inch rims are available and standard on the higher models. It's available with locking front and rear differentials. It's got a maximum weighting depth of 851 millimeters. There's more than 200 factory-backed accessories, independent rear suspension, GOAT mode, which stands for Go Anywhere. No, that's not right. Go over any terrain system. Not greatest of all time, though I think Ford are secretly hoping people take it to be both ways. Perhaps the biggest news is that 4x4 four-wheel drive is standard across the entire lineup of vehicles. Oh, and I should add, there's also a Bronco Sport, which is a bit of a fake Bronco. It looks like a bit of a Range Rover. So we're going to be ignoring that for this video. I'm not much of a fan. But the main Bronco, we like. There are 2 engines available, a 2.3-litre EcoBoost 4-cylinder and a 2.7-litre EcoBoost V6. Now, both are supposed to produce in excess of 200 kilowatts, and both have well over 400 newton-meters of torque. There are also 2 transmission options available. There's a 7-speed manual, including one crawl gear, and there's also a 10-speed automatic. Now, I just found this out. If you want the Sasquatch package, it's called the Sasquatch, and that comes with the bigger 35-inch tires, you can only get the automatic. That package is not available for the manual, but a small price to pay for monster truck rims. Now, there is a problem, and it's a big one. It's that Ford hasn't actually announced whether the Bronco will be coming to Australia or not. And if they choose not to bring it here, there will be angry letters sent their way. Ford have done this before, you know what I mean, with the Mustang. We had to wait several centuries for Ford to finally realize that people would buy this car in Australia, this sort of vehicle. And it paid off. I mean, when the Mustang came out, it sold quicker than hotcakes. Does anyone buy hotcakes anymore? No. And I think the same would happen for the Bronco. I mean, if you just look at Ford Australia's SUV lineup as it stands, we've got the underwhelming Puma, the hideous Escape, the forgettable Endura, and the melancholic Everest. And I mean, the Bronco would be the most expensive of the lot, no doubt. But I also suspect it'd be the best selling. I mean, I'd rather chew my own leg off than buy a Puma. And then what a stupid car. So yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I haven't driven it yet, Ford. Sign me up.
I don't know why I blinked right now, but
However, arguably the biggest question buyers will face is not whether they can afford the Bronco, but whether they will choose it over its closest competitor, the Jeep Wrangler. Interestingly, just before Ford announced the Bronco, Jeep started making a bunch of noise about how they'd managed to shoehorn a massive 6.4-litre V8 into the engine bay of a Wrangler, which is, I say, interesting because for the longest time, Jeep have been denying such a thing because they said it would compromise the car's safety, which is really funny because the Wrangler came with a 1-star safety rating. I mean, when you're at the bottom, how much lower can you go? Now, I have to admit, it now has a 3-star safety rating, but still, I didn't buy it. Would a V8 Wrangler be able to sway me away from the Bronco? Potentially. I mean, it's a V8, and it's hard to say no to a Hemi V8. But discounting that, I'd have a Bronco every day of the week. Now, it's worth noting that I am by no means an off-road fanatic. I mean, I despise camping. I mean, I'd rather peel my toenails off than endure a day out on the muddy trails. So with that in mind, I'd have a Bronco, largely because I think it's a more pleasing thing to behold, which is vain. I admit, very vain. But I also think it's going to be the main selling point for the majority of buyers. Honestly, out of all the people who own four-wheel drives, only a select few actually use their car to the full capabilities. The rest are there in it for the style. That's the hard truth. And you cannot underestimate the importance of a good piece of design. I mean, just look at the new Land Rover Discovery. That is a hideous car. The Defender, meanwhile, a bit better. But the Discovery, the current Discovery, what were they thinking?
What the hell were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking?
They weren't. That's the thing. But Ford was, which is why the Bronco is going to be an absolute sales success. It looks good. It'll no doubt drive well. And they've packed it full of what people want. So well done, Ford. I'm impressed. I mean, I'm more than impressed. I'm a little bit in love. So Ford, please, if you're listening, bring it to Australia. I want one. Well, there you go. That's all I had planned for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you've watched, subscribe, give it a like. Well, I mean, please do. I made the mistake of posting my last post, which was don't buy a Porsche 911 Turbo. I promoted that in a Porsche fan club page on Reddit and on Facebook and got, well, I don't know what I was thinking, but I got hammered. Not since YouTube Rewind has a video gotten this many dislikes. So please, like this video, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Noah Charalambous.